Who is the clock? I think. Chapel,
The real answer is that it wants fixing and then it don't lose or gain. That's what that thing is. Oh, that. But it's yeah, but it's minutes out as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay, well, it is 6:30, so can we make a start, please? And can I welcome you all to the April meeting of the Finance, Employment and Services Committee? Apologies, I take it it's just Brian.
Yeah.
Are there any declarations of interest?
I don't know whether we've got this correspondence in, but the Millennium Green Trust have put in for a small grant. Okay.
It did.
And I'm obviously a trustee of that organisation.
Is that agenda?
No, it was received after.
Right.
So I was going to put it to next month's meeting.
So you don't need to declare it.
Just thought correspondence didn't need to be in on that that day, but obviously I was wrong on that.
Correspondence doesn't, but the agenda item itself does. And it weren't, were it? According to Gina.
The
We
correspondence.
can't really do a grant application for correspondence.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was confused about. No problem.
Yeah. So moving on then. Minutes. The minutes of the meeting held on the 3rd of March. Would someone like to move them? Comment on them or whatever you want to do with them? They seconded. Those in favour? Were there any comments? No? All right. Yeah, okay. Public forum. There's no one here. Exclusion of the public applies to item 14 and 15 at the end of the agenda. Okay. Item 7, financial update. Has anyone any comments on this, or have you any comments, Gina?
Just that some of them, because we haven't done the prepayments and accruals and such like as yet. Obviously some of these are showing over budget that aren't actually off budget. But yeah, until we get in the prepayments and such like, then it's not really showing a true picture.
I'll move the minutes. I'll move the financial reports at 10.
You're moving all of it, yeah? A, B and C, yeah. Is it seconded? All those in favour? Thank you. Item 8. Review of financial risk register.
This, I don't know. It's obviously, it's been here. Well,
Yes,
and then went to full council.
yes.
And then one person who isn't even on this committee has managed to get it turned around and brought back. But yeah, I don't know. It's
Well, can I make a suggestion
yeah.
that we send it back to the next full council for them to make the final decision?
Yeah, I think we just,
I mean, obviously I wasn't at the last meeting.
That was there was a query on it, and it was said that it possibly wasn't fair to change it when you wasn't there.
Right.
but
So does anyone know what the query was?
When I say you, I mean you yourself, Gina.
Yeah.
You weren't there, and it was your policy. You'd put a lot of work into it, and you weren't able to be there. And I think I actually said it wasn't fair to change it when the person who took all the trouble of writing it wasn't there.
Right, Chair, you defended the financial officer by saying that we couldn't make a decision without her input at that meeting.
Then I spoke to the admin officer, and she was saying that it was along the similar lines of we need to take more credit in the middle column, and not just have things ongoing in the final column. But as I explained in the last meeting, the reason why things are in that final column as ongoing is because you have to keep doing them. It's a reminder to do that, otherwise you end up going backwards, really. So that's why I like it in the to-do bit. But that's just my opinion.
Chair, I think the person who made all these comments was trying to give Gina a lot more credit for all the work she's done, but wants to see that her credit has gone into the upper bracket rather than the safe mode of, because obviously you and your team know the risks. If we don't keep it there, and if we put it in the top bracket, we could become complacent. And I think that's what this particular councillor was trying to say. We need to be more complacent, or we need to show that we are on top of it rather than we're reviewing it on a daily basis. I think he wanted to put it in the safer bracket than the steady controlled bracket.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think previously in the previous administration, they were quite, they took risks and such things, and he thinks we should be taking more risks, basically.
Right.
excuse me, the only one that is still in the. Yeah, no, I was trying to call it. I was trying to name the category, and I was going to say iffy, but that's the wrong word. But with the blues festival, there are so many variables within there that, ranging from the weather to just about anything else you can think of that is totally outside our control.
Yeah.
Not wishing to tempt fate, but it only needs a headliner to do a Buddy Holly on us and be in a plane crash or something, and there's nothing that is totally out with our control. Just because it's rating a night. Remind me, if it was an 8, would it go green?
Yes, I think it would.
I mean, possibly we could drop it to an 8, and that'll stop which in reality doesn't alter its risk by very much, does it? Of course, it's on the thing, but you've got it in A3, and I only had it in A4, so I couldn't really read it.
Yeah.
We could change our recommendation to that if you want to alter it, or we could just back it back to full count.
Oh well, Yeah, all I was trying to do.
No, eight is still amber.
Right, so we'll leave it alone. I was only thinking if it was 8 for the sake of one, we could
Is it? Yeah.
put it green, and that might stop the grumble. But no, let's just leave it as it is, because
You can't say that it's not risky.
there is a risk from, as I say, the weather to an artist doing a Buddy Holly on us, or another COVID.
I mean, to me, changing that one to green is
Doesn't
like
make it.
changing a racing driver's insurance to green because he hadn't had a crash for 2 races.
Yes, yeah.
Don't make risk not there.
No, I think the would it sorry, we didn't realise it was 6:30, so we're running a bit on fumes. Will it go back to full council?
Yes, it will have to go back to
Yeah.
the full council.
Yeah, we'd approved it. It went to them
And then it was, we don't know,
to
and we
accept
couldn't.
it, and technically they didn't.
Yeah. Well, no, I think we, in your phrase, bat it back again and say we're happy with it, and we've worked through the that can happen, and most are out with our control.
I mean, I definitely think with the Blues, it's just the nature of the event, isn't it? I mean, we found when we had to cancel it twice because of COVID, you know,
Yeah, but even that could have been worse, couldn't it? Because as it were, we had to cancel it in February, March. You could end up having to cancel it in
last
June,
minute,
July,
yeah.
couldn't you? That'd be even worse an headache, wouldn't it? Because everybody's already bought the tickets then. Yeah. And a lot of money's been laid out.
Yeah. But
And you're never going to get rid of that risk.
was there anything else that, or was it just that one really? Right. Okay.
As I think it was David said, or was it? They were saying the thrust was everything's got to green, and you know we're doing ourselves down. But I don't think in that instance, you can, as we've just said, it's not.
So
It's
is
not
it
possible.
worth someone then moving that we reaffirm our previous recommendation and send it back to full
Send it
council?
back, yeah, and you know maybe on the bottom that we feel that there isn't any way you can. There are too many variables that we don't control.
Because I didn't say at the meeting we couldn't change it. I said I wouldn't want to change it when the responsible financial officer was not there. Right. Those in favour? Thank you. Number 9, new town council website.
I'll let Nathan speak on this. He's done a lot of the legwork.
So obviously in the last FES meeting, it was mentioned about investigating a new website for the town council. So the current website that we've got is dated, and due to the way it was set up initially, some of the new features that other town and parish councils have, we can't have because of how our website's been set up. So we've had a look at the sort of specification that we need to make the website Assertion 10 compliant, WCAG compliant for accessibility and all that sort of stuff. And we went out to 3 different providers with that spec to see what they could offer. All the providers recommended that as it stands at the moment with our website being a .org.uk website, that it's recommended to upgrade it to a .gov.uk website, because in the next couple of years it'll be mandatory for town and parishes to have that .gov.uk status anyway. Some of the features we identified that would be beneficial on the new website is, for example, a forms module, so you can apply for an allotment on the website, you can apply for stalls at events, you can even have a report it form, so that if there's an issue on one of the playgrounds, instead of it just falling into one inbox, it'll go to the officer that deals with that directly. The other module that we were looking at as well was a payments module. So with the .gov.uk domain, it gave you access to .gov.uk Pay, which the processing fees that you would normally pay to your payment provider are the very minimal using the .gov.uk, so there's a saving there as well. So what people could do is, say in October when they get their allotment bills, they can just jump on the website, put their invoice reference in and pay, and it's done, which obviously saves officer time, but it also means that we're saving, we're not having to pay as many card fees for those that normally ring up and pay over the phone, which is quite a lot of people. We had all three companies came back with quotes, but regardless of which provider the committee decided to go with, there would be a cost for our IT provider to upgrade email addresses from the .org.uk to the .gov.uk, which is £632 plus VAT. And it's also been suggested that if we're getting a new website, it would be beneficial to get new content for the website, so images of the town, images of the different services that we offer, any footage, councillor profile photos, all that sort of stuff, to give it a really professional and fresh look. Obviously, we've had the free quotes for the website. Provider A was the cheapest, and everything that we asked for in the specification they could meet. Provider B, they've done some work for us before, but not got much experience in council websites, and there were quite a lot more. And then provider C has little experience in council websites, but could only meet some of the specification, not all of the specification. So that's pretty much all the research and the quotes that we've had come in. I will add though that provider A, the guy who owns the company is Silca qualified, and is also a SLCC collaborator, which he worked with SLCC to design the website to make it Assertion 10 and WCAG compliant as well.
Is the Society of Local Council collapsed?
So, yeah, the information's there in the report, so it's just now to see if there's any questions or which provider you'd like to go with, that sort of thing.
Can I ask if you can give us details of the other council website that this provider, the one you prefer, so we can have a look at it?
Yeah, so they've done a lot of council websites. The most local website they've done is Keighley. So they've just recently done Keighley's website, but they've done town and parish councils up and down the country, and they will have a professional look to them.
Would it be exciting and colourful when you know, rather than the dark red that I don't know?
Yeah, so the designs that he showed us were quite colourful, and
He kind of walked us through setting a page up and things like that, and it just seemed really easy, didn't it?
yeah,
You can basically put whatever colours you want on there. or whatever themes that you want.
Can I ask, is it this company that actually does the website, or do you put the information on?
They will initially put all our existing information on there. So I think we've asked for 3 years worth of like meeting documents and that kind of thing. So that will all be ported across. Any new things we will have the ability to update. And there was various different training videos and stuff, weren't there?
Yeah, so it
Go
also
on.
gave you access to like the website learning portal, so you can literally go on and type in whatever you want to do, whether it's create a new page, create a new contact form, anything, and it's got a step-by-step video to show you exactly what to do and how to set it up, and any troubleshooting, that sort of stuff, which none of the other providers offered. So with the provider that's being recommended, it means that we're not paying fees to get stuff updated or new additions to the website. It can all be done in-house. It's easily managed. We did speak to the officer over at Keighley who deals with their website, and she did say it's the best decision they've made because it takes 2 minutes to update the website, each page, that sort of stuff. It's really easy for all their staff to learn and update the services that they look after.
So the basic format will remain the same for the 3 years, but the content will obviously be changed. Is that what happened?
It allows you to change. I mean, you can embed videos. You can do all of that kind of stuff on it, which is additional to what we have now. So it will look a lot more modern.
I can pull it up if you want. Might
Ours
do.
is clunky now, it's too old. Isn't it? It's clunky as ours now.
So it's got a really colourful and professional look to it. Really easy to use for the end user as well as staff. So most of the websites all have the same templates, and like I say, they're really easy for anyone to use. You can change the layout of each page depending on what we want on, like the home page, and then obviously you've got information about all the services that they do. But it would also mean we can add on services that the borough and county provide, so that if they were to click on one of their services, it would take them directly to their page rather than on our website. But you can upload photos, videos, pretty much anything you want, and it's really easy to set the pages up to give it a really eye-catching, colourful look as well.
Chair, I was asking Nathan through yourself, Chair, how soon, depending on whoever we go with, how soon would this be up and running?
It will be roughly about 8 weeks to get everything up and running and integrated onto the new website. Part of that would be that if anyone went to the .org.uk domain, it would automatically put them on the .gov.uk domain, so that people won't get lost by visiting the old website as well. But it's roughly about 8 weeks.
That'll be just in time to really promote our main event, one of our main events, which is obviously the Blues, and all our current events that we are putting forward. So it's looking good.
It is a no-brainer. At 1,700 quid, and at a quick look, that's all they do. They do town and parish council websites, and there were dozens and dozens of them that you could have looked at. And yeah, the Keighley one works as well, but particularly it works on a phone and looks right. Ours doesn't look right on it, although it was supposed to. And I think as it's expanded and what have you, it doesn't now, and it's clunky and old-fashioned. So snap the hand off, and the cheaper.
Before we make a vote, I've got two things. Neither of them are much really, but on paragraph 13, where there is a cost of 632 plus VAT, it's not a lot of money, but is it worth changing the councillors' email addresses now, when in a year's time we will have some or perhaps all of them to change again anyway? And should we just get the website done onto it, and should we defer changing the councillors' email addresses until the all-out elections in 27, because some or all of them could be to change then anyway?
Would that work though? Because there's links on the website. Isn't there?
My understanding from the price from Holker is, regardless of how many email accounts there are, it's a set cost, because all they need to do is log into the current email domain and update it.
Yeah.
And the price also includes making sure everyone gets back onto their emails. But from when I've read the quote, it doesn't matter whether it's 5 email addresses or 30. It's just that cost.
Personally, I think we should just go for it now.
Just go for it and do it.
Yeah, rather than
Yeah.
have a half.
And yeah, we can do, because as I said, it's something or nothing, because it's only 600 odd quid anyway. The other thing, I'm mindful that we perhaps ought to bring the IT policy back for updating, because if this is going to be a facility where a town council officer, which I don't have a problem with, can decide to change some of the info on the website, wherever you've agreed, and you take it down and you put something else up, that's fine. Don't have a problem with that at all. But I think it ought to be in the IT policy that such work as changing the content of or adding anything new to the website can only be delegated to a council officer. It cannot be delegated to a council. And I think if you think back over what's happened years ago, you might understand where I'm coming from with that. No, but it might be better if the policy says it. And I think you know where I'm coming from. Because you don't want a councillor of any description with a bit of a bee in the bonnet putting something on there that is out of order. So I think it wants to be a no-no, that they can't have access to changing it.
I certainly am from my previous administration.
Other than that, I've no problem with it.
I'll propose that we move. We engage provider A.
Seconded. Those in favour?
Well, it's generally me, Nathan, okay with it.
Yeah, I would have thought so, yeah. Moving on, item 10, town hall maintenance.
We started work on the netting, the birds netting on the building. However, basically half of it's been done, but we had to stop because we found a pigeon's nest. Yeah. So obviously we've got to wait now until so we can't really do any work until they've hatched and gone. So the linesman is still on with number 2, Albert Road. That's coming on really nicely. I think the next thing they're doing is the windows, isn't it? The refurb.
Yeah, there's roughly about 4 weeks' time till it's fully finished, including the windows being refurbished, the flooring inside the shop. So they just finish on a couple of loose ends with the new kitchenette and toilet area, and then they'll be straight on to the outside to sort out the shop front and the windows. But they've estimated about 4 weeks until it's done, and we can start looking at getting a tenant back in there.
Anything else? The heating, we're still waiting to just put the final bits in. We think where we've put where they put the thermostat is incorrect, because really it's not giving a true indication of the temperature of the officers. So I think we're going to suggest that we actually put more thermostats in and have them in each area, so that can inform that rather than being they basically put it in the middle bar area, but then on a Wednesday the doors open, and so it doesn't really work. So but we're waiting for that, and then we're going to have some training on the system so that we can alter it as and when we need to. Is there anything else you think of for town hall maintenance? We have had some work on, is it the roof up by me, or the gutters?
Yeah, so the pointing's been done above the windows in Gina's office because it was leaking in every time it rained. The roof of number 2's been cleaned and repointed because it was leaking in, and it was had moss on the roof which was causing the leak. And we're just looking at getting the town hall bird netting replaced as well, because there's holes and gaps everywhere, which we'll be looking at starting the work beginning of May. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were some bits of repair work to do at the annex, which I think the lads are looking at, aren't they?
Yeah, so the tenants of the annex building had a meeting to discuss maintenance issues across there, 'cause they didn't have a clear understanding of what was our responsibility and what was their responsibility. They've now got an understanding of what they're responsible for, and they've highlighted a couple of issues that we need to deal with, but the lensmen are going to assess the jobs first, because if we can do the jobs in-house, obviously that's better financially for the council. Any jobs they can't do or they're not confident doing, we'll then obviously look at outsourcing it to get the jobs done. But I think the majority of the jobs that need doing over there can be done in-house.
I think that's everything.
On the heating one,
Mm-hmm.
there was an amount of money for the cost of the heating that we withheld the payment, weren't they, temporarily? Have we slipped that forward in budget for when they've sorted it?
Yeah, there is still an amount outstanding.
Yeah, and it's been slipped forward into this year's budget. Yeah. Anything else? No. So can we note the report on town hall maintenance? 11, correspondence received.
we haven't had anything other than that, which I think we are going to discuss in the private item.
There's nothing else. Items for a future month's agenda. There's one I want to put on, which is actually one of our bus shelters. Because I think I've mentioned it to you before, Gina.
Oh, is it the one that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of our bus shelters is on a route that the bus no longer goes on because the route the bus takes has been changed. So the one in Ruskin Avenue no longer has a bus going down there. So I would like to bring an item back to a future meeting to decide whether we ought to remove that bus shelter and put it elsewhere in a more appropriate place, or what to do with it. And what I would like us to do as well, before it comes back, if we contact Ashley Weir at LCC and ask him what the likelihood in the near future is of them ever moving back to that existing route down Ruskin, and if it's virtually nil, I would suggest we want to move the bus shelter, because there's no point having a bus shelter in a street that doesn't have a bus service. And it could even be taken to Toppert Street. And I noticed last Thursday when I went to Luncheon Club, the bus actually now stops outside the community centre. So the ideal place for it might be outside the community centre and just move it that few hundred yards so that it's actually en route. I don't know what anyone else thinks about whether that should come back or not, but I think it should.
Chair, I've had a similar complaint about that myself over the last couple of weeks. I was going to only for yourself bringing it. I was myself going to bring it.
Perhaps we should have an item on bus shelters, because some of them are in a poor state and some need a bit. Yeah, maybe sometime we can have a report on the state of the.
Well, obviously the contract has only just started for the benches and bus shelters, but they are asked to do an audit. So depending on what we get back, we can bring that.
Well, if we ask the contractor on his first time going round cleaning them to photograph them, we've got the photos to look at then, haven't we?
Yeah.
Alice.
Can we do the same with the benches? I'm quite concerned that we keep on painting them and they peel off quite quickly. The ones at the flagpole, they're quite bad again. And I'm just wondering whether we should really think about the recycle eco-friendly plastic and get slats rather than this continual painting that doesn't seem to work and is obviously time consuming and expensive. So if that can go perhaps on an agenda, that might be something. I noticed that there was quite a lot of money in the.
Was it not agreed that we would have, was it black ones in the conservation?
There was it may even be a particular, not a colourway, but a specified type of recycling thing. There was because they're recycled near the ones I was thinking of aren't recycled because they're red, because I saw them
Right, yeah, they're not
earlier. I was thinking of the ones that where the Henley used to be on that bit there, but no, they're red, so they can't be those that are recycled.
You can get different colours. So I don't know whether they do the maroon that we have or the shade of red
Yeah,
that
no,
we
I
have,
don't think they
but
do. I think if you,
they do have different colours.
I think it was, I can vaguely remember, it was decided that we would do the brown recycled plastic one in all areas but conservation areas where they would have to be black. I think that's what was decided. But obviously we're just trying to sort of refurb what's there really, rather than having to buy new. But it's well, they are done in house now. There were some that were done by the previous contractor that they seem to be peeling off quicker than so I don't know if it was the type of paint or if they didn't do as many coats or whatever. But they are all the refurbs now done in house. So Mark tends to do it, and I think he does a good job.
It also depends what you paint onto, doesn't it? Because if you paint onto paint that's flaking and don't get that off, it'll come off and bring new paint off with it.
He always
Yeah,
sands
but if
it
you do
down.
it right,
Yeah, he always sands them, primes them, and then repaints them. I think part of the problem is when they're being cleaned, they're being pressure washed. So obviously it's affecting the wood. But I know the ones they did over at the flagpoles were a couple of years ago, so they may be due again. But like I say, it doesn't help that they're being pressure washed.
Personally, I still think that it is quite a lot of time that we spend, the lensmen spend on that job when they can be doing something else. And if we've got money to replace our benches, not all at once, then it could be something to think about in the next few years.
Yes.
you can always bring bush shelters back, benches back as an item on a future agenda. That's not a problem. You don't both need to come together, either. No, almost do separate things. Is anything else we want on a future agenda?
Do we need the secret garden at all mentioned? An update for next time? Or not?
Not until
Well,
yeah, I
we need
think
to know
we
what's
just need to
happening with it,
wait,
don't
yeah.
we? So if there's no one else got anything else for future agenda items, can we move on then to item 13? The date and time of the next meeting is on Tuesday, the 5th of May.
Can I put my apologies in now for that meeting? I will be out of the country.
So exclusion of the public. Before we move on to item 14 and 15, can we stop the live feed, etc., and move the relevant standing order?